two seemingly unrelated things that I was asked to look up today, and how they're totally related to each other by a very specific thing, and why this helps you learn things. They're not related to, well, they are, but let's get on with it. 156 prisoners on death row in the United States have been exonerated since 1973. Look up the total number of people who are on death row during that period of time. Do the math yourself, I guess, but the point is, yes, in defiance of Donald Trump, mostly because I forgot that he actually said this bullshit, the Central Park Five were really just one person, Matias Reyes, and he was found by evidence to be the person who did it. The North Fork Four was really just Omar Ballard, as also indicated by evidence and a confession. There wasn't four people in one case or four in another. It was one person. The Memphis Three, this is my assertion, and it's based on me saying what's left. This doesn't mean that it's a solvable case. They were removed from being in jail, and honestly, one of them was not told that you will be declared to have been improperly prosecuted. He should have been. Well, you've already served your sentence. That's not relevant. Give him his frickin' due. A parent or a random person could have done it. We won't know because everybody involved in the investigation clustered this thing to hell. Because they started off with a presumption. Oh, here's some people we don't like. Let's pin it on them. That's my assertion. Sticking with it. But no, really, that does make more sense. In all of these cases, it's more than one person being accused of something that could have easily been done by one person. The presumption of conspiracy. No, I'm not kidding. And the conspiracy in each case was really on people who just wanted to make sure it was more than one person. Well, there are gangs of people doing this, or there's satanic ritual abuse involved, or it's never anything about what actually happened. Somebody was raped and the body was left here, or someone was raped and they didn't die, or we thought some kids were violated when they weren't, because apparently everybody in the police department ignored over and over again the forensic examiner saying, no, that indicates they were dead, not raped. But we need it to be that because that'll get in the news. And in all of these cases, I'm going to point it out, and probably all the others, it's somebody who was doing it after it became very publicized. So what do we learn from this? In Portland, Oregon today, a YouTuber named Waptech was found hung upside down with spins wheel. Lawn darts driven through him. And on a big board with circles drawn on it, looking like a dartboard. Therefore, satanic ritual abuse is in the papers. And what the police should say is, every one of you is an idiot. We'll never do interviews with you again. Publish a retraction, and then we'll discuss the case tomorrow. Those of you who haven't, we're going to harass you by giving you parking tickets until you drop dead. Good day. And that's it. They walk out. No, we're going to do that. And then the next day, everybody retracts and says, yeah, they made up shit. What was happened is, Waptech was found after doing a stupid video where he was trying to prove lawn darts don't do these things by being tied to a spinning dartboard. Now, that's just stupid, but at least it would be more true. Basically, every single police agency needs to learn the new anti-lumbago rule. Are you planning on doing a public announcement? Don't. Are you trying to settle a score with some young kids in the area who are under 18 that you really want them to go to prison but you can't pin anything on them? You're excluded from all investigations till the day you drop dead. Why? Because you're fucking worthless. Now let's get on with something else. I want to point out something. It starts with a presumption that someone's trying to prove, not looking at the evidence and seeing where it forces you to look. In one case, it only pointed to one person, who then said they did it. And what happened? They were ignored when they said, no, I did it. I mean, you've got me. Why are you trying to put these other people in prison? Infamously, the fourth person, in one case, that one person, wasn't listed as one of the people convicted. Only the innocent people are listed as convicted. So it looks really, really stupid. Okay, now I'm done with that rant. It's a 5-minute rant, but literally, it's never satanic ritual abuse and it's never conspiracy. Well, it might be, but in those cases, it's organized crime. Your average drug dealer on the street has a higher likelihood of being killed by a real conspiracy than you or any whistleblower, because no one cares. Charles Hindley's 1862 hoax became attributed to the possibly non-existent 16th century wise woman, Mother Shipton, who left no written prophecies. So everyone is perfectly free to lie or hoax their prophecies. And they did. Starting 1641, 80 years after she died in 1561, if she ever existed, were the only things that we should really treat as being maybe not a lie. Regional predictions that did or didn't come true if they were vague enough, and 2 prophetic verses that did or did not come true. None of these talked about the end of the world, despite widespread BS like, the world to an end shall come in 1881. The world didn't end in 1881. No, it's not, oh, well, it was a mistake or a oops. No. Or it was a false flag, so no, this is a bunch of bullshit. 1875's Madame Helena Petrovna Blavatsky's life led to the Theosophical Society, based on faked Mahatmana letters and other works, not from any supernatural masters, but her plagiarizing other people's soothsaying. Make thousands of predictions, and when they don't come true, don't acknowledge them, but only acknowledge the 2 or 3 you got right, so that somebody else can lie about those and just change the year, literally by 100 years with the exact duplicate, like a cut and paste. Cotton picking. Nostradamus, 1500 to 1560. Are you noticing pattern? Was a quack medicine apothecary. Snake oil salesman, literally, when he was a kid. He read and plagiarized a metric fuck ton of shit. 1522, Mirabilis Liberi, an anthology of predictions written in Latin aimed at scholars. He just rewrote it in his native language or whatever language he needed to. Badly, but they were direct copies. It's confirmed. 1549 and 1550s, Richard de Saint's Livre de l'Estat des Mutants de Temps. 1504's De Honest Disciplina. Poorly pronounced by Webtech, but by Petrus Carinthius. And then I'm not going to list them. Things called the 12 Caesars and Plutarch's work and the Mysteries of Egypt, a pop book. Crowley, Aleister Crowley, it's actually Crowley. Apparently I don't know how he pronounced his name. Put down how you'd pronounce Aleister Crowley. Mr. Crowley. How do you actually pronounce his name? And how should it be? And do any of you know? Plagiarized the rituals of the Golden Dawn in his Libri 777, adjunct to 666, for his own esoteric order, the Argentine Maelstrom, the Silver Star. This is going to keep going. Just buckle up, bitches. Gerald Gardner plagiarized Aleister Crowley to make the Wiccan initiation rituals wholesale, which means they're completely falsified because, again, they were plagiarized from somebody else. Instead of saying, this is a modest work of me doing a compilation of previous assertions that failed to see if they happen later on, you say, I predict such and such. No, you cut and pasted shit. Including, by the way, all of these people went out of their way to cut and paste shit from the Bible. Well, isn't it interesting that he came up with the same prediction that was made 2,000 years earlier? Yeah, and it failed too. Gerald Gardner. L. Ron Hubbard claimed Crowley was a very good friend, but mispronounced his name, just like all of us do apparently. 1951-52, L. Ron Hubbard, as a Church of Scientology founder, initially credited a Navy doctor, and then later denied this and made it officially a rule that you can't say that. As evidence, you could say, I'm citing these sources for my creative work to try to figure out how humans work, how humans exist, versus having everybody retrocon you as literally a living God on Earth, and you never plagiarize nobody, even though you stated you were inspired by other people. Macbeth has been plagiarized so much that it's considered a trope in and of itself, and there's nothing wrong with that. But when you lie about it, now it's plagiarism. Including a 1936 or 1935-1937 book called Scientology by Anastas Nordenholzen. Wiener Schnitzel. The books were named Science of the Constitution of Usefulness of Knowledge and System of Knowledge and Science. They were both literally named, the word used, Scientology. 1936. L. Ron Hubbard actually acknowledged this at one point, and then that was retroconned out of the belief system because that would indicate that he wasn't some holy master of archaic knowledge that had been handed to him by space aliens. No, he had to. Scientology's bullshit. Wiccan initiation rituals are bullshit. Ellis Crowley is bullshit. Nostradamus is bullshit. Mother Shipton is bullshit. We are easily fooled species. But let's continue forward. Church of Scientology, whole thing plagiarized also 1930s Wallace D. Fard Muhammad's Nation of Islam teachings and 1965 Elijah Muhammad's add-on to it of the Mother Plane space opera that was also later incorporated OT Level 8, that was only supposed to be published after L. Ron Hubbard was dead, so that he couldn't be asked any questions, because he knew better than to be alive, because he might get drunk one day and tell the truth. But he may not have plagiarized Mr. Crowley, or Crowley, at least. And I should point out that the Nation of Islam plagiarized every single person I just brought up, and directly plagiarized somebody who made a compendium of plagiarisms before. Now, I used to have the connection back from the Nation of Islam back to something from 17-something, all the way back. I mean, it was literally, it's a pedigree of poop. And it goes back a bizarre amount of time, including, and I'm not kidding again, directly misquoting the Bible. I mean, directly misquoting. Not just misquoting, not directly quoting it, but directly misquoting. By cutting and pasting it and just changing some words around. And some of this involved bibliomancy, where you just open a book to a certain page and then base a story on it. It's a methodology for doing creative work. You base it off someone else's work, but you do it as a reflection of it. You open up a dictionary, look up a word and then another, and then use the definitions to create a story. Or some other work. Some of this was done as just rambling that was recorded. It's L. Ron Hubbard specifically, but others as well. Just randomly saying words until something somewhat sensible came out, and then basing a story on it. It's a way of creative work. L. Ron Hubbard, out of all of these, is the only one who acknowledged originally being a sci-fi writer. The rest of them lied about being a very poor sci-fi writer, but every one of them was guilty of doing cold reading. What they do is they'd see what people would respond to, treating it as a marketing genius moment to figure out what is sellable and what isn't, and went with it. If and I might do this is your only warning, if I take the original works of the Bible in the original language and run them through the bad translator that we have, that is Google Translate, and then try to make it sensible by retroconning everything and making a concordance of it, and more importantly, doing it in pure English and making it sensible and making it fit with scientific data instead of the opposite way where you try to deny science, it would become a bestseller, and it beat out Dianetics, because it would at least have a vague amount of accuracy, and I could claim some esoteric source, like literally the Bible, and just bring it up later and tell everybody where I got it from. And you know what would happen? I'd still have a cult and $1 million. Don't tempt me. I'm getting very good at